Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, Charles Morris. More evidence has piled up since the January 6th, 2021 insurrection. Here we are now. It's been a year since the insurrection on January 6th, 2021. Here we are a year later, and more evidence is piling up. Now, if you recall that one video that I made about, Tucker Carlson saying that that the insurrection on the United States was not even a U.S. terrorist attack, and that there wasn't any violence or whatever, and that stuff, he is clearly dead wrong. So, this leader of the Oath Keepers, which I'm finding out, if you watched that Chris Hayes, the reports, it says that one of the 11 Oath Keepers is now facing serious charges in court. But the leader, his name is Elmer Stewart Rhodes. He is the one who has said that there is going to be a bloody fight in case they try to remove Donald J. Trump illegally, which was what their thoughts were on that. He said that he was getting his group of men together around the Capitol and getting them into position so they could start their violent attack. Now, a report says that Elmer Stewart Rhodes had purchased more than $15,000 on firearms and ammunition and other related weapons. And this man was doing everything he could to actually get the weaponry that the Oath Keepers and the QAnon group that you keep hearing about. I could just assume that Elmer Stewart Jones was getting ready for everybody that was getting ready on that day, January 6th, to help ready his Trump's pawns, or followers, I should say, to carry out the plan and the orders that Donald Trump had incited the day before the insurrection. And the leader of the Oath Keepers said that the commander-in-chief, former President Donald J. Trump, gave them orders to march the Capitol. So, these Oath Keepers are going to have some very serious charges pressed against them. I'm sure acts of terrorism is involved. And then also vandalism, breaking into buildings. And even if they murdered people and that stuff, I'm sure they'd have to face murder charges as well. And justice doesn't even come with bloodshed. Okay, let's just make that very clear. And even if these Oath Keepers did end up going over there and, you know, killing a bunch of people and that stuff, a judge would have to issue a death sentence for these Oath Keepers if they if they if there was actually like violent bloodshed that day on like multiple like for multiple like on multiple people. If there was like, very, very big amount of death over there at Capitol Hill, then a death sentence might have had to happen. But not as many people, I imagine, died there. But there were police officers that lost their lives helping protect the Capitol from being being broken into and helping keep democracy safe. So there were people who died and risked their lives doing so to protect it. So, yeah, Elmer Stewart Rhodes is facing very, very serious charges in court. And these Oath Keepers are going to, well, they're going to have a price to pay. I mean, say if I, let's say if I were, supporting somebody and that stuff, and I found out that the person that I was voting for ended up losing. Um, yeah, I actually have the brains to know that even if this person, said to, go and try to overthrow somebody that is certifying that my that the person that I was voting for was losing and that stuff. I would be saying no because number one, I would be the reason why I would not go and try to, overthrow somebody by force or by violence and that stuff is because I would know that would be a direct felony right there. And that stuff. Let's say, for example, let me give you a good one. Um, hmm. Oh yeah, what if this man's dead now, but let's pretend John McCain won a presidency against Barack Obama. Let's pretend that he did and that stuff. Now, if he lost to Hillary Clinton and that stuff, would John McCain uh, do something stupid like Donald J. Trump did with his followers and go out there and ask for the election results to be overturned and prevent Hillary Clinton from becoming former 45. This is just pretending. I'm making an example here. This is not what really happened. Okay, Hillary Clinton was never president here. But let's say, for example, that John McCain was president, like the 44th president, and Hillary Clinton was former 45. Now, being that I know John McCain, he's not that stupid Republican like the rest of them are, and that stuff. Even if Hillary Clinton, like I said, if she did win and that stuff, you expect John McCain, the Republican that he was, even though the man's dead, if he did that, okay, do you think he would know there would be like consequences for his actions if he took those kind of actions like Donald J. Trump did? He would be facing charges and that stuff because he knew he had to have to be responsible for his actions. Like I said, his actions. So if he told his people to go down there and march at the Capitol and, commit like acts of violence and that stuff, well, wouldn't he have to have responsibility for his words and actions and that stuff? Of course, if they're considered crimes and that stuff, then of course he's going to have actions. Or, of course he's going to have responsibility for, what he says, what he does with his actions, A lot of people have to own up for what they do, okay? And not everybody's above the law and that stuff. And John McCain's not that messed up Republican. He was not. He was never a messed up Republican. And if Hillary Clinton did win the election, even if this did happen, which it never had, I'm just using this as an example. If Hillary Clinton was the president that won in place of Donald J. Trump, and John McCain was voted out of office because he lost fair and square to Hillary Clinton, and this is just an example. Again, I keep on saying example because I want to make sure that I'm very clear on what I'm saying. But if Hillary Clinton was the president and she won the election fair and square and that stuff, John McCain would accept it and admit defeat and congratulate Hillary Clinton because he's that kind of a Republican. And that there would be the complete opposite of what Donald J. Trump would have done. Donald Trump ordered his people to march down to the Capitol and overturn the election results. And the Oath Keepers and QAnon, this was all designed to do one thing. And that was loyalty to Donald J. Trump himself. Elmer Stewart Rhodes has spent over $15 on ammunition and firearms, get his people to be ready to attack the Capitol and cause some kind of bloody revolution that he believed that would that which the Oath Keepers believed that it was, justice, that a bloody revolution would help keep the president who was defeated by Joe Biden. They believed that bloodshed, a bloody revolution on Capitol Hill, was going to keep the president in office. They failed. So the Oath Keepers and QAnon, if I'm pronouncing that one group right, they are going to get justice, and they're going to have to be put behind bars, and they're going to have some serious charges pressed against them. An overview of what happened in the insurrection. I remember hearing from Chris Hayes that you could hear a person or the crowds chanting "Hang Mike Pence" over and over again. And not only did they demand that Mike Pence be hanged, but also Nancy Pelosi. There was a statue stolen, Nancy Pelosi's laptop was stolen, and one of the QAnon groups sat at a desk after reaching the Capitol floor, or maybe even the speaker's chamber, and wrote on a piece of blank, the binder. I think it would have been Nancy Pelosi's binder, but it was somebody's binder, and he wrote that justice was coming. Which, as I said, justice does not come. Justice does not come with bloodshed. Justice means security. And when somebody says that somebody needs to get justice, it means, let's say, for example, justice for Gabby Petito, okay? That means security overall, and that the person needs to, the person who's committing the crime should be locked up behind bars and should get justice because of, their threat to the person. That's why the victim needs justice, because justice is security. And these Oath Keepers and QAnon group, they're gonna get justice because they need to be locked up where they can't do any more harm to democracy. And that was this video that I was going to upload today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please comment, like, and subscribe to the channel, Charles Morris. And this is Charles Morris, and these Oath Keepers and QAnon and everybody who participated in the insurrection is going to have to answer for, everything that they did. And justice is going to get served. And after each January 6th there'll be more and more evidence that'll pile up. And I'll be sure to upload more videos on this. This is Charles Morris. Have a good day. And I will see you all in the next video.